Hey guys, welcome back to the show. Happy Monday, January 29th. I know a lot of you had a great weekend. Riding into Monday is always a stressful day, so sit back and enjoy the comedy, the entertainment, because we're going to dive into the Chiefs, the Ravens, the 49ers, the Lions, what happened. Obviously, a crazy weekend. And heading into the Super Bowl, what we're looking at. Before I do that, I'm going to welcome the co-host of the show, the guy we love, the main event, face for radio, my below average white guy, Brent Chapman. Let's go, baby. Today is the day.
Oh, yes, I am in extra low def today, Brandon. But I got to imagine you're feeling really good today. You got the Super Bowl you dreamed of. Taylor Swift.
Look, Brent, listen, I was watching this. We even had those picks, and it was like my heart was to be the Lions and the Ravens. That's why I wanted to win. But it's like I just could not bet against Patrick Mahomes, especially because I feel that Lamar Jackson was that guy that he could get it done, but it was without Lamar Jackson, we're in some heavy shambles. And so it was tough to watch Lamar Jackson toward the end, made some plays, obviously, throughout the game that were great, but then a couple plays where he took some sacks where I'm like, oh my God, man, throw it away. But Travis Kelce was the main event for the Chiefs. He came out early on. I mean, he was kicking helmets around with the Tucker, the punter, or the kicker for the Ravens, kicking the helmet around. He had a chip on his shoulder. He's like, move out my way. And I'm like, let's not let that come back to haunt you. Let's stay focused on the game. But Travis Kelce came out and he did his thing. It was first and 10, big plays, catching passes. And he was a freakish athlete. And he made a statement, Brent, and I like what he did because he kind of proved a lot. What I was saying was he is not only one of the best tight ends to ever play, he's top tier. Whether or not he's going to be, number one, number two, number three, they can live and talk about that for the years to come. But he proved a lot in this game, Brent.
Yeah, he made a couple pretty ridiculous catches, right? And look, somebody texts me and says, why don't they cover Travis Kelce? They are covering Travis Kelce. Kyle Hamilton, I don't think had a tight end catch a ball on him the entire season, and he was absolutely getting torched.
They were covering Travis Kelce. You're right. They
were covering Travis Kelce. He's just very good, right? Yeah. And it's a sneaky very good because I look at him and go, what the hell? And then all of a sudden it's like it was ridiculous. But Brandon, I have a question for you. What I can't get over is I really thought this was the year the Chiefs had a down year. They did not look good. I watched a lot of their games and they're like, this is it. The Chiefs are over. And then all of a sudden, the last two games, they've played like they did the last 5 years. It's just dumbfounding to me. And by the way, as a fan of any other team in the NFL, frustrating.
Listen, the Chiefs woke up, and I've been saying it all season. I've been like, listen, the Chiefs have no identity right now. And they didn't. They clearly didn't. It was Patrick Mahomes. It was Travis Kelce. And then when Travis Kelce had some bad games or he was quiet, the Chiefs lose. So it wasn't like they came into this game and it was like, okay, yeah, we're lining up, we're balling, we got all these new players. They didn't. It was the same show. It was Patrick Mahomes, it was Travis Kelce, and then it was Pacheco. But the whole thing was, like you just said, Brent, they literally could not stop Travis Kelce, and it was like, Patrick Mahomes is scrambling, here we go. There he goes again. Kelce's wide open, bang. It's like, how is he getting open? He's just making plays. Even when he's not open, he uses his big body as a tight end, almost like, playing basketball as a forward or a center to box the guy out and make plays. So it wasn't like they weren't doing a good job. But even when, Lamar Jackson was on offense, they were running around scrambling, and there were almost at one point, there was like no pass rush. So even Lamar Jackson was making crazy, freakish plays. And this one here was one of those plays, Brent, where Lamar Jackson just could not get away. He grabs this like a freak athlete, goes, I got it, bang, just tripped up. And this was not the first time. This happened once, twice, 3 times, not this same play, but where he would break loose through the line. Even on one, it was like 4th and 1. He busts through the line and bang, gets tripped up. And Brent, the problem is Lamar Jackson was so gifted. all season. And in this game, he was gifted also making big plays, big throws, hitting Flowers for a touchdown pass. They were right there. They were in the game. But the biggest question really comes down to is, can you come out successfully? Can you finish in the fourth quarter and be victorious? Because the Chiefs, year in and year out, find ways to win. Good teams do that, and bad teams don't, Brent. I'm not saying that Lamar Jackson and the Baltimore Ravens are not great, just not good enough to beat the Chiefs. Was there anything with the defense you saw that, did the Ravens let up at all? I mean, I think they played well.
Yeah, yes, the defense didn't do what I thought that it was going to do, but here's where I think we get a little confused during the course of the season, right? We watch these teams play other teams, right? And they dominate, like the Dolphins, right? They had 11 wins, but they didn't beat any team that was over 500, right? So you get a lot of sort of false confidence in some of these teams, right? I think that's what we've seen with the Ravens, because historically the Ravens do not perform well in the playoffs, right? And when I say don't perform well, I mean, look, you could say whatever you want that the Bills lose all the time in the playoffs, but look, they fought to the freaking last second, back and forth. Each team scored on like the first 12 drives. I mean, it was like an absolute, that was the Super Bowl. Weren't you watching that game going, wow, the Bills are freaking way better than the Ravens?
Yeah. I mean, when I watch the problem of the whole situation, I don't know if it's the Ravens or if it's the Bills as much as it's really, look who they're playing. I mean, this guy. Yeah,
it's the Chiefs. The Chiefs rise up to that level where they're just, when they need to win, they win. It's like, I said this last week and I saw it again this week. Did you see how pissed off and how fired up the Chiefs got over Bills Mafia and the snow and the energy in the stadium? Yeah. They are like, they're like Lex Luthor. They feed off of the kryptonite.
Dude, the Ravens were in this game. And good morning, Candy. Good morning, Brenda. I think it says, let me see, G. Lynch, good morning. Good morning to all of you guys that are coming in and talking in the chat. We appreciate you. Brent, you're right. The Bills really, look, the Bills versus the Chiefs was a Super Bowl matchup. But the Ravens and the Chiefs also watching the game, first quarter, second quarter, this was also kind of like a Super Bowl matchup. But it was like I said, it's just like Lamar Jackson is a superstar, a super athlete, but Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. And it just shows it's not athleticism. It's not because he can run. It's not just passing. It's the ability to rally the troops.
What I'm trying to say is when they need to get up for a game, when the other team is so fired. Did you hear that stadium there? And boy, so fired up. The other team was so fired up.
Yep.
They get more fired up. They feed off of your intensity for that game. Like if the Ravens just came out, we don't really care. They might have actually fared better. But one more thing, because I got to do it. Lamar Jackson scored 7 points against the Chiefs until late in the fourth quarter. Josh Allen scored on every freaking drive in the first half. Now you tell me who the MVP is. Yeah, it ain't Lamar Jackson.
And I can't even, well, let me say this. I can't knock the boost of Josh Allen. I can't knock the boost of what you're giving him. But when I looked at the game yesterday, and this is supposed to be a live reaction because this is a reaction to how I'm really feeling right now about the game. When I watched them both line up on offense or both line up on defense, I think they were playing hard. Mark Andrews, the tight end's back in the game. He's ready to go catching passes. The Ravens, the fan base, they were excited. Patrick Mahomes is on the road again in Buffalo, on the road in Baltimore. This just shows the caliber player that Patrick Mahomes is.
That's right.
So, again,
he needed this.
Are we talking stats? Or are we talking wins? Are we talking being able to bring your team to the top in a big occasion? That's why I hate saying let's vote on the MVP of the regular season, even though it's okay because there's some teams that don't make the playoffs that have a great talented player. But if you wait a little bit and you watch players rise to the top, leadership, not just stats, leadership, involved in the community, involved with your team, just an overall MVP that brings that morale, that camaraderie, that excitement to win football games. Patrick Mahomes is in that conversation too, During the season, not as much, but he's very much in that conversation that I would like to say, look, this guy's a winner. And even though I wanted the Ravens to win, I wanted to see Lamar Jackson get to the Super Bowl. He's an all-star, he's a highlight. The Chiefs earned it. And they don't have a receiver that's out there going crazy like Brandon Flowers, Odell Beckham. They don't have, or I keep saying Brandon Flowers because I know that player. Like Flowers.
Flowers.
Yeah,
yes.
and Odell Beckham. They don't have players like that run around catching passes. They were throwing to Pacheco. They were throwing to Kelsey. That's it. So I just think that Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid, we'll get to right now, is a big reason, Brent, why, and we'll get to Lamar Jackson in a second, so I don't want to say too much, but Andy Reid really is one of those guys that he's your 12th player on the field, right? He's your coach that you can give a lot of money to. You can boast about him. You can say he was good here, he was good there, but the reality is the man is phenomenal. And those screen passes, the Chiefs would have scored more touchdowns if some of those, backside penalties weren't called and it wasn't even part of the play. So this guy's play calling, his ability to get his team ready for the game, Brent, I don't think people should forget about these coaches and what they bring to the table.
I mean, Andy Reid, we've talked about, is one of the GOATs. And look, this is now his 5th Super Bowl appearance. He has made the championship game, I think, 12 times in his career. Just to put that into perspective. Yep. He's been coaching a head coach for about 24 years. So that's half of the seasons he's coached. He's been in the championship game.
Yeah, I mean, listen, you can't knock that. Hey, they're saying in the chat, welcome Devon to the chat.
There are coaches that will go their entire career and not make the freaking playoffs. And half of the seasons out of 24 that he's coached, he's been in the championship game.
Hey, Devon said the man crusher Josh Allen is real.
If that's not greatness, I don't know what is.
Listen, Devon said in the chat, the Josh Allen man's crush is real.
Yeah.
But look, I got to agree. Agree with you, though, that Josh Allen is superb. The man really is like watching a Superman on the field. He's just like Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes. I mean, those guys are that talented. But the coaching, John Harbaugh, I think he came to the plate. I think Andy Reid came to the plate. I think it was a great game. I love what I saw to these teams. I just know as we move further in the game here, Lamar Jackson was just, listen, he was on, and a couple times he was just so frustrated, and I just don't understand for the life of me. If the talent behind your ball club is this guy, he's got to be more of the equation. And I understand pocket passer. Make the plays with your arm first, then run. But here's my reaction to this, Brent. If you got a guy like Lamar Jackson, who is not your norm, this is your Mike Vick of the world, and there isn't many people after that. And don't get me wrong, Josh Allen can scramble, he can run, but he's not running like this guy. He doesn't have the blazing speed, the ability to do what this guy can do. I don't think they really utilized Lamar Jackson in this game the way that they could have to gash the Chiefs' defense for yards. Because as soon as this man started running, it was like, oh, and here's that clip again that I showed when he catches this little tip on. There was plenty of plays like this. Watch how he just bursts through. Watch. Bam. Look at the speed. Boom. I'm going. And then bang. Just tripped up. We're just shy on countless occasions where he was going for 6.
There's something, Brandon, and I just am watching this, and I think you saw this as well. There are times he drops back, and they've told him not to run. He has got it's a 4-man rush. They're all blocked, right? He can't find anyone open. It's wide open, and he's fast as heck.
I know.
There were multiple times that he did not take off when he did. And Devon's gonna love me to say this, which is, guess who would have?
Yeah, I know.
The point is that Lamar is not thinking. He's thinking too much about, I have to be a passing quarterback, and not just feeling. If he's just like Josh drops back and looks, if the guy's open, he throws the ball. If it's not open, he sees, oh, wait a minute, I got a 4-man rush and everyone's blocked. I'm just going to go right through here because it's wide freaking open. And by the way, Josh Allen is like half the speed of Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson could have had about 15 more runs than he had in that game. They gave it to him, and he didn't take it.
Well, that's
exactly
the problem. That's exactly the problem was, did they use Lamar Jackson the right way? And the biggest answer to that is this.
Wait a minute, Brandon. That's not on them. That's on Lamar Jackson.
Yeah, no, I understand. But what I'm saying is this. Great coaches, they see things and they make changes. If that's my quarterback, I'm going to him saying, look, I know the situation. I know your reads. If you go back and you're going through your reads and the first receiver's open, throw the ball. If he's not and you're going through your progression and you see a little opening, or if you get hit and he broke plenty of tackles. If you scramble out and you see some space, even if there's a guy near you, just run, because the whole point is moving the chains. And here's the thing,
I don't
Brent,
think they want
I like what Lamar Jackson was doing, but like you said, it's up to him when he sees that daylight. If he's not tired and he's got those legs and he's that shifty and he has that ability, get on your horse, run for the first down, move the chains, go like this, bang, first down, and win the game.
I think they're training him not to.
Yeah, I agree.
They want him to do what he did in this game because why? Because they don't want him to get hurt.
Of course.
And he's been hurt a lot. But you know what? What the hell is the reason to play if you're not going to play your game?
That's why I always complain about Tua. But that's why I always complain about Tua, because I'm not saying he's Lamar Jackson by any stretch, but even Tua gets outside the pocket. It's like, bro, you don't got to run far, but just run for the first down.
This is a problem with these coaches. And by the way, the Bills to an extent have done this, and other coaches have done this, and they're doing this to Tua. McDaniel's doing this to Tua. McDermott's trying. He's not Tom Brady. He's not Joe Montana. Part of what makes him great is that if you decide to do a 4-man rush and don't have a spy, he's going to get 10 yards.
Yeah.
That's what makes Lamar Jackson great. You
know what?
Totally kneecapping what makes him great and say, don't do that, Lamar. We don't want you to get hurt. Well, guess what? Get a different quarterback, because that's what Lamar, and if Lamar gets injured, that's just the risk you have to take, and he has to take, being that type of player. And that's
listen, everything you just said is spot on. And before we go on to the next topic, I want to say this.
I banged my knee on the table, Brandon. Where was the bobblehead? You should have. I gotta stretch my knee. I banged it very hard on the bottom of this table because I was getting so excited.
Well, listen. Before we move on to the next part, I want to answer that. These players are drafted out of college because of their production in college. When you watch Lamar Jackson in college, he can throw the football. What took him off the tape and got to take him was that he could run all over the place. And so when they bring him in there, it's like, hey, Lamar, you were running all season. It's the playoffs. Now it's the championship game, AFC championship game. We want to get to the Super Bowl. How are we going to get there? What are you going to do? You're going to run, and we're going to set up plays where you go back and you run. And they didn't do that. And I'm not saying anything against John Harbaugh. Great coach, great team, great organization. They just missed the boat by not letting Lamar Jackson run the goddamn football. That's the problem. But there's someone that did run the football for plenty of first downs. And again, we're not knocking Lamar Jackson. We're saying utilize your talent. You're unbelievable. But let's get to someone who did. Brock Purdy played very well. Couple bad throws. Yeah, everybody has a couple bad throws. But Brent, Brock Purdy pretty much played lights out, moving the ball, passing the ball, scrambling for first downs, running play action. And guess what, Brent? When he ran for first downs, unlike, other players on the field, and Josh Allen does it sometimes too, he didn't slide. He dove, because when you start sliding in the National Football League, they stop the ball where you start sliding, where you initiate the slide. That's where the ball is. Brock Purdy wasn't having it. Brock Purdy was diving for first downs. He was diving past the Lions. And so even though the Lions had opportunities, I got to tell you, Brock Purdy wanted this game more, Brent. He wanted it more.
You've got to play like that, right? That was more what I'm talking about. Like Lamar Jackson is like, Lamar Jackson on his knees is faster than Brock Purdy, right? But he chose not to do that. But the Brock Purdy's like, yeah, look, if you're gonna give me these big holes, I'm gonna run through them, right? And I'm gonna get first downs, and I'm gonna lower my shoulder, and I'm gonna get that extra 2 or 3 yards. You're right about that. That's the difference in these quarterbacks when they scramble.
The grit.
It's like sliding is like a 4-yard difference.
Yeah.
Like literally, like just lower your shoulder and go and get the 4 yards.
Or not lower your shoulder, but dive. Like if you see the opening,
whatever it is, there's a way you can
Yeah.
You can propel yourself forward.
Yep.
Dude, we teach the kids when they're younger, right? And I do a lot of the coaching when they're first learning to play tackle football. We tell them to initiate the contact. Don't be afraid. Don't stand back and take the contact. Initiate the contact.
Right.
If you're initiating the contact, you're a lot less likely to get hurt than if you're just the one getting smacked.
Yeah. But
right?
Brock Purdy was like, I don't give a shit. First off, Brock Purdy, again, we got to understand this. Brock Purdy is in his second season in the National Football League. And I'm not saying that he won't do this in his fifth or sixth season. I'm just saying, as a rookie, came in, played well, took him really far. Now, they're in a Super Bowl. A lot of people that had questions, that had doubts, that were confused. And I'm not putting them past players like Patrick Mahomes. I'm not even putting it past Lamar Jackson. I'm not putting it past Josh Allen. I'm not even putting it past other quarterbacks like Dak Prescott. What I'm saying is, this guy is in his second season. He's doing in his second season what a lot of people could not do in their fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth. So Brock Purdy is really good. Brock Purdy was missing players at times and still won. And in this game, where Christian McCaffrey, right, great running back, Deebo Samuel making plays, and then the defense making plays. And don't forget, we cannot forget the tight end play. Kittle played great, and that's the biggest difference. Blocking and being able to catch the football at the tight end position. Travis Kelce, right? Kittle. These are those teams that rise to the occasion. They make big plays. And Brock Purdy, on live right now, I'm saying, this guy is one of the best in football, and he was very, very spot on, and he led his team, and he put it on his back. And when they showed his parents in the stands, they were like, let's keep going. Let's keep going. I think this guy's second year is unbelievable.
24-7, they were down at halftime, and they came back and just obliterated them in the second half.
Coaching, quarterback, camaraderie.
Well, it's a good segue into the next topic, which
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
You know, I actually, that I grew up in Detroit, and so that I watched the lovable Lions lose. And lose. In fact, I very well remember going to my Lions games and holding up a Fire and Millen sign. So it felt so good for them to get this far, and it must have felt so good for them to be up 24-7 at halftime. And did you see the amount of people at Ford Field? There wasn't even a game, and the stadium was filled. And that's like an 80,000 person stadium, by the way.
The Lions had so much support, Brent.
I know.
And I loved it.
And then they just completely crapped the bed. But let's talk about Dan Campbell. So Dan Campbell made a couple incredibly bad decisions. And I want to reference this by saying, I'm not a professional coach. Right. I've coached some at the high school level, but not recently. And I've not coached in collegiate or in the pros, obviously. Right. But I am a very aggressive coach. I throw the ball 70% of the time. I go for it on fourth down pretty much all the time. I always go for it on two. When I coach basketball, I don't watch fouls. I just play based on the matchups. Right. I'm very aggressive in how I coach. Dan Campbell is also, and that's fine, except when you're down by 3 in the NFC Championship game with 5 minutes left and you have a 45-yard field goal. You do not go for it on 4th and 4.
Yep.
You take the 3 points. Now, nobody knows who I am and nobody cares what I think. But people that have seen me coach football or any sport know I am incredibly aggressive. I am telling you, that was a terrible mistake. And Brandon, I can't, like,
if he converted that pass, right?
No.
Say Jared Goff goes back and he converts the first down and then go down and drive. What happens is, and I want to explain this to people watching this, and you're correct. When you watch the game, if Dan Campbell calls that pass play and they win and they're victorious, they win the game, people are like, man, he was ballsy, he got it done. But in this position, with all the fan base around him, everybody that was rooting for the Lions, it's the first time in a long time doing X, Y, Z. Dan Campbell's a great coach. He's got Jared Goff. No real superstars. I mean, on the defense, some superstars, defensive line. But here's the thing. I agree, in the championship game, get the points because your defense isn't playing back. Get the points and then try to live and fight another day and try to come back and go, okay, we're in this. We're tied up. Let's win this game. Because if the Lions were in the game, tied up with minutes to go, I think the Lions are going to turn up because this is their chance to shine. All the pressure's on the 49ers. I think it was a bad call, and I think that he thinks it was a bad call. He was aggressive. He was going for the win. I know what he was feeling, but I got to agree with you. The Detroit Lions, the people of Michigan, obviously, they had Michigan to win a national championship this year. To see Detroit get to the Super Bowl and then have also Michigan win that, I mean, it was like Michigan's erupting, right? Like, what a state. They fell short, Brett, a little bit.
Yeah, I got a second issue he made. So that was one that was dumb. Then San Francisco got the ball and walked down the field and scored anyway. So instead of it being up 7, now they're up 10.
Right.
So Detroit gets the ball and they go all the way down and they're moving. They're moving a little bit slower than I would have liked them to. And they get all the way down and they decide to, Brandon, can you hear me and see me?
Yeah, I can see you. You're frozen for a second. Let me move on until we fix the issue real quick.
Did I get
I think you're frozen for a second. Let me move on for a second.
No, there we go. Sorry about that. So Detroit gets the ball and they go all the way down the field. Now they got to score and then but here's the thing, Brandon, they had 3 timeouts. So what this means is San Francisco would have been maybe to run 20 seconds off the clock, and then they would have kicked the ball back to Detroit because they weren't going to do anything crazy with it, right? So what Detroit did, though, was they had the ball on the 2-yard line on 2nd down, and instead of throwing it, they ran it and got stopped. And instead of running up and running the next play, they called timeout. That was the game because you just gave up 40 seconds.
Yeah.
Like, well, look, they could then run off.
Dan Campbell, regardless how you spin it, the Lions had a freaking
that's a very
awesome season. The Lions had an awesome fucking season. And I hate that it ended like that. A lot of people are stressed out about it. At the end of the day, Dan Campbell's a freaking awesome coach, a badass guy. They love him there. They're not moving on. People wish they were, and you're correct. Everything you just said, you're spot on. But let's move on, Brent, to the Super Bowl because we got 2 teams that are going to be great to watch. And I got to tell you something. These 2 quarterbacks, they look pretty damn similar right there in that picture. But obviously, Patrick Mahomes, the GOAT, has been doing this a long time. And Brock Purdy obviously needs to catch up. Some accolades, some MVP, some wins, some Super Bowls. Yeah, I agree. But if you're watching this right now and you're in the chat, let me just see who's in here. Who you got? Chiefs or 49ers? And don't look, if you're watching this right now, don't sit there and look at the screen. Right in there, Chiefs or 49ers. It's not going to bite you by putting in your pick. We want to know what you think because these 2 quarterbacks are ready to go, ready to ball, and I'm more than excited at this point because I really wanted to see. I started thinking in my mind, okay, these 2, okay, Josh Allen and this team. And I go, you know what? This is too a great matchup because I think the 49ers have a little bit more identity. They got Christian McCaffrey. They got Deebo Samuel. They got a great defense. They got Kittle at the tight end position. The 49ers, if they're healthy, are a pretty strong team. And I believe there's going to be a lot of pressure on Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. So we will have our picks this week. And I'll be doing this, Brent. I know you got a lot going on. You'll be traveling and doing your thing. You weren't feeling so hot, but you're back on here. If we have you later in the week, great. But right now, because you're on here, Brock Purdy, Patrick Mahomes, do you have right now in your gut who you think will win? Don't follow your heart, Brent. That doesn't work. Let's follow your gut right now because the Bills are out, Lions are out. What do you got? Your gut, who will win this game?
Yeah, my gut says the Chiefs are going to win this game, which makes me want to vomit. What I'm really hoping happens is it's kind of like the opening of that Batman movie where, Hines Ward takes the kickoff and then the field is imploding behind him and the game gets canceled.
Right. Look.
You've got to grab, Howard, you got to grab that clip. That's like one of the greatest football movie clips of all time.
Bro, Brock Purdy.
That's America wins if neither one of these teams win. But
hey, this just goes to show you that whole conspiracy theory and the script and, that's one thing I want to talk about on here real quick in the Super Bowl. So
this is the script. They got their script.
No, listen. Everybody's like, oh, the purple, and it's gonna be, the Ravens got to play the Niners, and then every single day there was a change of conversation. Oh, Vegas had this, and at the end of the day, we got two players that deserve to be there. Had some bumps in the road. Coaches had some bumps in the road, but now Shanahan's been there for a long time. Andy Reid's been there for a long time, and this is like a Super Bowl repeat. This is like a matchup. And it was so funny. My business partner from another company said to me, another company, I have a shipping business. I don't know if I even explained that. I have a shipping company based here in Miami, which is a sole provider and great business I love to operate. My business partner said, weren't the Chiefs and the 49ers in the Super Bowl a couple years ago? And I'm like, I could not remember. Could not freaking remember.
I do not believe so.
And then he said, wait, no, you were at the Super Bowl. And I was like, what? I completely forgot. Like, that is how crazy time flies and things happen. So literally forgot that I was in the freaking stadium watching the damn game, which is crazy. But look, I got to tell you, Brent, this matchup right here, it doesn't get much better than this. And yeah, I would have said, let's see Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson in the Super Bowl. Well, they just did that. So now let's give another guy a shot who deserves it. What's the matchup look like before we move on, Brent? Travis Kelce, Patrick Mahomes, and Pacheco, right? Like, that's the show.
Yeah,
that's
I don't know how San Francisco moves the ball against Kansas City. I mean, there's really been one. Josh Allen seems to be the only guy that could move the ball, and he wasn't throwing the ball. If you remember, they only had one pass over, or no passes over 20 yards, right? And Lamar was unable to do very little also in the air against them. So San Francisco's going to have to rely a lot on George Kittle and Christian McCaffrey and quick stuff to Deebo Samuel. It's going to be a lot of underneath stuff.
I love the 49ers in this game, Brent. I know a lot of people. I never voted against Patrick Mahomes. I'm taking the 49ers.
Put a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy. I don't know.
You think it's a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy?
I think the Chiefs have got some Taylor Swift magic.
Well, I'll tell you right now who I'm taking. I'm taking the 49ers. And it's not because, listen, Patrick Mahomes runs the game. He manages the clock. He manages the offense. He's a game changer. He's an adult on the field. He's a coach on the field. So here's the thing. They got two things to stop in the matchup. They got to stop Kelce and they got to stop Pacheco. That's the real ingredient. They just stopped. Listen, if you stop Lamar Jackson, which the Chiefs did, so Brock Purdy might not be doing as much running around. But I'll say this. I like the 49ers because I really like Christian McCaffrey. I think Kittle's going to have a big game. And the real eyes are going to be on Kelce, when they play against the matchup. So if they stop Kelce, they win the game. That's my take against the Chiefs. But move on to the NFL draft, Brent, because these are some of the top quarterbacks in here, right? We got J.J. McCarthy, we got Caleb, and we have May. So I mean, we're missing Penix, and there's arguably some guys here, right, that can be jumping in this position. But the reality is these 3 quarterbacks for sure will be on a ball club next year, or this year. But who will they actually, in this season, will they start? What team needs one of these players desperately in the quarterback, in the NFL draft?
So this is going to be really interesting draft. So I think the most quarterbacks ever in a first round might have been 6. I think it was an 83 draft, right, with Kelly and Marino and all those guys, Elway, right?
Yeah.
They've got 6 with first round grades. Caleb Williams, Drake May, Jaden Daniels, Bo Nix, JJ McCarthy, and Michael Penix Jr. So that's a pretty stellar sort of list. And then there's obviously you've got some other really good players in there like Marvin Harrison Jr. and Malik Neighbors and Joe Alt from Notre Dame, right? So this is going to be an interesting draft to watch. But to your point, the funnest part of all of this is just because you got 6 first-round quarterbacks is do you have 6 teams who are willing to take a quarterback in the first round?
Yep.
And that's what'll be interesting. And then where do they value those quarterbacks at? And do the Bears want to give up on Justin Fields? Do the Redskins want to give up on Sam Howell? And if let's say they trade him, does that then take another team that was going to take a quarterback off the board, right? So it'll be a while until we figure out and sort through all that. But I love the draft. This is going to be a great draft. There's a lot of great prospects, and the teams at the top need some help. But I feel bad for them.
You know what I was thinking about all yesterday too? And you look at these teams and you go, okay, the Bears need a quarterback. Then you go to another team and go, okay, they need a quarterback. Or the Patriots could need a quarterback. But you know what I was thinking off the radar a little bit? The Miami Dolphins, and this is off the radar, they got Tua for another year, XYZ. But I really started thinking about this. And I'm like, the Miami Dolphins went after Tua. He had some stats. They just weren't beating good teams. And I'm looking at him going, what if the Miami Dolphins made some trades, call some people, move some stuff around? I really believe that they should draft a quarterback. I didn't think I would think that. I always thought a veteran, get a veteran, keep getting a veteran. I think the Miami Dolphins are in the position where it's like, I got to win a Super Bowl next year. I got to win a Super Bowl next year. So they keep trying to hurry up. I think they really have to take a step back and look at who's in there, whether it's, Caleb, whether it's McCarthy, whether it's Penix, whether it's May, Bo Nix, whatever. I think they need to evaluate who they really like, their top 3 guys. And I think the Miami Dolphins should really draft a quarterback who can start building their organization. I think the Miami Dolphins have to sit back and go, who could we build around for a long time? Not a couple year, 10-year. Tua was hurt when he got there. Bring someone that you can go, this is our guy. Talk to that college coach. How did he perform? And how was he in the locker room? How is he performing, walk around with his players as a leader? How does he perform in the meeting rooms? How is he off the field? Because you see him on the field. They need to get a star talent, and they need someone they can believe in for a long time. That's my take on that. The team that really has to find a quarterback. There's a few others. Justin Fields could stay in Chicago. Believe it or not, Bailey Zappi, they're not terrible. I mean, they could play, but I think the Patriots are still looking for their guy. Is there any other team you think outside of them, Pittsburgh Steelers, anybody else that you think wants to really draft a quarterback?
I think they're going to evaluate these guys, and they're going to determine where are we at now? Is it ready to bring in a quarterback? Is it veteran time? When you talk about Miami, I talked about this earlier, right? That they're going to go one more year with Tua, and they're not going to draft. They'll draft a guy next year, do the whole veteran thing if they decide not to proceed with Tua. So I think they're not going to definitely draft a first-round quarterback. But you talk about the Steelers, I don't know. They've been drafting quarterbacks for the last however many years since Ben Roethlisberger. So that hasn't been working.
Yeah.
So, my guess is they'll go the veteran route. I mean, you can go right down this list, right? New England should draft one. Washington should draft one. Chicago might not. The Chargers won't.
It's going to be very interesting.
Giants and Cardinals won't draft quarterbacks. Tennessee might. I mean, there's a lot to, it's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be fun over the next couple weeks and months. The draft, I think, is in May. So
speaking of fun, Brent, speaking of fun and entertainment, Draymond Green is back at it again. And listen, the clip I'm going to show you right now.
What in goodness gracious?
It's not a clip that you're going to see right now. That's bad, right? And I want people in the chat right now. Should Draymond Green still be in the NBA? Should they cut Draymond Green? Should the NBA get rid of Draymond Green? I'll show you why. It's a little BS play, right? He fouls Anthony Davis. Bang. A little aggressive, but he says, hey, my bad, bro. Pass him on the back. My bad. But look, someone says something. Bang. Off his rocker. He can't. Draymond Green has no composure as an NBA All-Star player. Not an NBA player, an NBA All-Star player. Okay, and LeBron's like, what the hell, right? So, again, bang, a little foul, a little too much. Okay, hey, my bad, AD, my bad. Okay, good. Look, someone says something. Oh, shut your ass up, right? He yells over there. I'm not going to yell it on you on the line.
What was he yell? How did he even react that fast?
Because the gentleman, okay, so guy comes
Who
up. Who
yelled? Was it a fan or somebody else?
No. It's a player that, and off the screen here, starts spinning his hands like, kick him out, kick him out, kick him out. So Draymond's mocking him. Watch. Oh, yeah, kick him out. Yeah, get out of here, my ass. Like, yeah, whatever. So the point is, look how fast Draymond Green, his energy is heightened to the negative side. Great energy. Love watching him play. He's aggressive. And you want him on your team because he's tough. But then the problem that Draymond Green seems to keep having is within seconds, he can't keep an NBA composure. You're making millions of dollars. He's been fined so much money that he'd be sitting on tons of extra cash. Instead, he's getting all crazy. There's no reason to act like that, to overreact. So it just goes to show you that him being out of the game, I like Draymond Green, so I'm not downing him. This is the God's honest truth, though. He comes out of the game for a while. The NBA suspends him. It's indefinitely, and he was gone for a while. The Warriors were terrible without him. Then he comes back. Okay, he's reinstated. Let's bring him back to the game. Let's see if he's learned his lesson. Everybody's like, okay, he'll come back. He'll learn a little bit. And then he's right back at it again. It's like, there's no point in even doing that, especially, you got a family or a wife or whatever. Just play basketball, enjoy making $100 million. Like, what's the point of all that extra energy? If you're watching the chat right now, should he be in the NBA or not? Should they kick Draymond Green out the NBA? Brent, what do you got on that take? What do you think about Draymond Green in general?
He loves basketball, and he's a guy. I mean, dude, look, like everyone has different, personalities when they're playing, when they're competitive, when they're in the heat of the moment. I don't know that when I'm in the heat of the moment, I'm the best sport either. It's just the adrenaline of wanting to win and wanting to play and wanting to give it your all. And he just gets really excited and he isn't thinking, right? I think when he's probably sitting here very calmly, he's probably a very rational guy. But that adrenaline and he's in the middle of the moment and it's heated and, and then somebody says something and he pops off. Like, that's just kind of who he is. And I don't think...
If you're watching this right now, hit the like button as you're watching, like and subscribe. And don't forget that we have at the top of our YouTube now, YouTube has moved us along into the group that we want to be in. Obviously, we've been a YouTube partner, but you can hit the join button at the top and join the Mason Mob. Brent, as we move forward in this, we now have a mob at the top of the YouTube platform. You can go back and look at the page and see that. So that's also new.
Love that.
We have gear coming out, Brent. We got the gear being produced. Face for radio, that's coming as well.
I need that shirt.
Oh, Brandon, we got that for you. We got them in all sizes just in case we're not sure. But we are all set for that. Brent, listen, I love having you on here as much as humanly possible. I know you got a lot of stuff going on that you got to tend to. And anytime you can call in for us, we'd love to have you on every single day if possible. And if not, we will see you next time.
Before we go, Brandon, I did want to get, you didn't ask me about my t-shirt today, so I want to give a little shout out here.
I love that shirt, man.
There is a really cool organization in the United States called Phil Am Nation Select. And what they do is they go around the country and they find all the Filipino American athletes, and they start like in middle school-ish, right? Late elementary, middle schoolish. And they bring them all together in these regional and national tournaments, and they're helping stock up the national team, which is Gilas Filipinas, right? They're stocking up the national team. So they're helping identify all the local talent in the United States to help the national team. Like, for example, Jordan Clarkson of the Jazz, I believe, played on the Philippine national team in the most recent World Championship. So cool organization. My sons are a part of it. My son won the U14 championship on the Philippine national team. So, and your sons, Brandon Jr., can be on the Filipino national team as well. So
they're ready to go.
All lined up for you.
All right, ready to go, bud. Looking forward to it. And
take care, Brandon.
We look forward to seeing you soon, buddy. Thank you. Guys, thanks for tuning into the Brandon Mason Show. We love to have you every single day, 10 to 11. Remember to like on the clip and subscribe and join us as we expand our network for live television. And also at the top of our chat for YouTube, you can now hit the join and join the Mason mob. We got it lined up for you. We'll get everything sent right to you, so I don't have to remind you to jump on here and watch the live show. We look forward to seeing you guys every single day, 10 to 11. Enjoy your Monday. Remember, stress-free, comedy entertainment. Enjoy your friends and family. Until next time.